We are done in characterizing the roots of quadratic equations. In this lesson, we need to describe the relationship between the coefficients and the roots of a quadratic equation. Let's start with this activity. Perform the indicated operation. Number 1, 7 plus 5. Okay, that is 12. Number 2, negative 9 plus 14. Correct, that is equal to positive 5. Number 3, negative 6 plus negative 7. Okay, that is negative 13. Correct. Next, negative 3/8 plus 1 half. So as you can see, the denominators are different. Therefore, we need to get first the least common denominator para ma-solve natin siya. So, the answer will become 1/8. Okay, correct. Next, number 5. 8 times 15. The product is 120, correct? Negative 4 times 7. Okay, that is equal to negative 28. Very good. Next, number 7. Negative 6 times negative 12. That is equal to positive 72. Very good. And number 8, 3/7 times 2/5. So, in multiplying fractions, numerator times the numerator, denominator times the denominator. Okay? So, the product will become, okay, that is 6/35. For the objectives of our lesson, so the learners will be able to, number 1, recall the quadratic equation and determine the values of A, B, and C. Number 2, describe the relationship between the coefficients and the roots of quadratic equations. And number 3, determine the sum and the product of the roots of quadratic equations. For the most essential learning competency or MELC, describe the relationship between the coefficients and the roots of a quadratic equation with the code of M9AL-IC-2. So let's start discussing sum and product of roots of quadratic equations. Let's have another activity. So determine the roots of each quadratic equation using any method. Okay, let's have x squared plus 7x plus 12 is equal to 0. So we can use here factoring, completing the square or quadratic formula. So if we will use factoring, so factor out x squared, we have your x and x. So factor ni 12 na kapag inad daw natin ay 7, so we have 4 and 3. Kasi 4 plus 3, that is 7. 4 times 3, that is 12. No, kung mapapansin nyo, ang sign ng ating binomials ay parehas na positive. Bakit? Kasi ang sign ng ating last term ay positive. So meaning, kung positive ang sign ng last term natin, dalawa lang ang magiging choices ng signs ng binomials. Pwedeng parehas na positive or parehas na negative. Since ang sign ng ating linear term ay positive, kaya ang sign ng binomials natin ay parehas na positive. Okay? So we have the factors of the quantity x plus 4 times the quantity x plus 3 is equal to 0. Now, by using the zero product property, we need to equate each factor to 0. So, we have x plus 4 is equal to 0. Okay, doon muna tayo sa una. So, ano ba ang makakapagpa-0 kay 4 na nasa left side ng equation? Ang kailangan matira lang sa left side ng equation ay si x. Okay? So, by subtracting both sides by 4, okay? So, 4 minus 4, ang matitira na lang sa left side ng equation ay si x. And then, 0 minus 4, that is equal to negative 4. Correct. How about x plus 3? Again, by using the zero product property, so we have x plus 3 is equal to 0. So dito, ano ba ang makakapagpa-0 kay 3? Okay, that is minus 3 also. So, x plus 3 minus 3 is equal to 0 minus 3. So, 3 minus 3, magiging 0 na yan. So, x ang matitira sa left side ng equation is equal to 0 minus 3, that is equal to negative 3. Therefore, the roots of x squared plus 7x plus 12 is equal to 0 are negative 4 and negative 3. Okay, let's try another one. We have x squared minus x minus 20 is equal to 0. So, tulad dun sa nauna, pwede din natin gamitin dito ang factoring, completing the square, or quadratic formula. So, if we will use factoring, so, we have here x squared. So, factor out x squared. So, x and x. So, factor ni 20 na kapag sinubtract natin ay 1. Okay? So, that will be 5 and 4. 5 minus 4, that is 1. And then, 5 times 4, that is 20. Okay? Since na ang ating sign ng constant term ay negative, ang magiging sign ng binomials natin as the factors ay isang negative at isang positive. Okay, so meron tayong isang negative at isang positive. Pero bakit ang negative ay napunta kay 5 at yung positive ay napunta kay 4? Kasi, babase tayo kung ano ang sign ng linear term. Okay? Kung ano ang sign ng linear term, yun din ang sign ng higher number sa factors ni 20. Since 5 is greater than 4, kaya ang negative ay mapupunta kay 5 at yung positive ay mapupunta kay 4. Okay? So, we have the factors of x squared minus x minus 20 is equal to 0 of the quantity x minus 5 times the quantity x plus 4 is equal to 0. So, by using the zero product property, we need to equate each factor to 0. So, let's start with x minus 5. So, x minus 5 is equal to 0. So, again, ang kailangan matira sa left side ng equation ay si x. So, ano ba makakapagpa-0 kay minus 5? Dito. Okay? So, if we add both sides by 5, so negative 5 plus 5, that will be 0 na. Okay? So, 0 plus 5, that is equal to positive 5. So, x is equal to positive 5. Next, we have x plus 4 is equal to 0. Again, ano ang makakapagpa-0 kay 4? Na nasa left side ng equation. That is minus 4. Okay? So, x plus 4 minus 4 is equal to 0 minus 4. So, 4 minus 4, that is 0. Ang matitira na lang sa left side ng equation ay si x. And then, 0 minus 4, that is equal to negative 4. Therefore, the roots of x squared minus x minus 20 is equal to 0 are 5 and negative 4. Let's complete the table. Okay, we have the sum of roots and the product of roots of the given quadratic equation. Okay, kung babalikan natin kanina, si x squared plus 7x plus 12 is equal to 0, ano yung roots nila? Negative 4 and negative 3. Okay, very good. So, pag inad natin yung negative 4 at negative 3, we have the sum of negative 7. Okay? product. Ibig sabihin, i-multiply natin yung roots. So, product of roots, so negative 4 times negative 3, that is equal to positive 12. Correct. Okay? The other quadratic equation, x squared minus x minus 20 is equal to 0. Okay? Ano yung roots kanina? 5 and negative 4. Correct. So, if we add that, 5 plus negative 4, so dahil adding different signs, we need to subtract 5 minus 4 is equal to 1. Okay? And product of roots, if we multiply positive 5 and negative 4, the product of roots will be negative 20. So, ang habang tignan, tama ba? Para makuha ang sum of fruits at saka product of fruits. So, kailangan pa natin isolve yung value ni x o yung value ng variable. Okay? Pero, may madaling paraan. Okay? So, the sum and product of the roots of the quadratic equation ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0 can be determined using the coefficients a, b, and c. Remember that the roots of a quadratic equation can be determined using the formula x is equal to negative b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Okay, so ito na yung ating madaling paraan. Okay, so for x sub 1, we have negative b plus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. For the second root or x sub 2, we have negative b minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. To derive for the formula of sum of roots, so we have x sub 1 plus x sub 2. Ang ating x sub 1 is negative b plus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a plus ang ating x sub 2 which is negative b minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So, kung mapapansin natin, parehas ng denominator na 2a. So, in adding similar fractions, if they have the same denominator, copy the denominator and then add the numerators. Okay? So, we have here negative b plus the square root of b squared minus 4ac minus b minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Naging minus b dito, gawa ng positive times negative b rito. Okay? So, combine like terms. So, we have square root of b squared minus 4ac minus square root of b squared minus 4ac. Yan ngayon ay magiging 0 na. Okay? So, ang matitira na lang sa atin ay negative b minus b over 2a. So, negative b minus b, that is equal to negative 2b over 2a. So, simplify. So, common nila is 2. So, 2 divided by 2, that is equal to 1. So, for the sum of roots, we have here negative b over a. So, to derive for the formula of product of roots, we have x sub 1 times x sub 2. So, ang ating x sub 1 is negative b plus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Times ang ating x sub 2, that is negative b minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So, in multiplying fractions, numerator times numerator, denominator times the denominator. Okay. So, kung titignan natin ang ating numerators dito, they are both binomials. So, in multiplying binomials, we can use the FOIL method. So, FOIL stands for first terms, outer terms, inner terms, and last terms. Okay. So, Let's start. So, negative b times negative b as our first terms, that is equal to the quantity of negative b squared. Okay? Now, outer terms naman. Negative b times negative square root of b squared minus 4ac, that is equal to plus b square root of b squared minus 4ac. Bakit naging plus dito? Kasi, negative times negative, that is equal to positive. Okay? Next, inner terms. Square root of b squared minus 4ac times negative b. So, we have minus b square root of b squared minus 4ac. Okay? And the last terms, square root of b squared minus 4ac times negative square root of b squared minus 4ac, that will become minus the quantity of square root of b squared minus 4ac squared. And then, we can now multiply the denominators. So, 2a times 2a, that is equal to 4a squared. Okay? And then, combine like terms. So, we can combine this. Okay? So, b square root of b squared minus 4ac minus b square root of b squared minus 4ac, that is equal to 0. Okay? So, matitira na lang is the quantity negative b squared minus the quantity of square root of b squared minus 4ac squared over 4a squared. Okay? So, dito sa part na to, pwede natin siya ma-simplify. So, ang matitira is b squared minus 4ac. Therefore, we have here b squared minus b squared plus 4ac over 4a squared. Bakit ganito na lumabas sa ating numerator? Okay, ganito yan. Negative b quantity squared, meaning nun, negative b times negative b. So, negative b times negative b, that is equal to positive b squared. And then, dito sa part na to, yung sign na nasa labas ng parenthesis ay imumultiply natin sa lahat ng terms na nasa loob ng parenthesis. So, negative times b squared, kaya naging minus b squared dito. Negative times negative 4ac, kaya naging plus 4ac over 4a squared. Okay? Next. Combine again like terms. So, b squared minus b squared, magiging 0 na. So, matitira sa atin is 4ac over 4a squared. We can now simplify it. So, 4 divided by 4, that is equal to 1. A divided by a squared. So, ang exponent ng a na nasa numerator is 1. So, in laws of exponents, sa quotient of powers, if they have the same base, we need to subtract the exponents. Okay? So, copy the common base and then subtract the exponents. So, 1 minus 2, that is equal to negative 1. Since that the answer is a negative exponent, therefore, it should be written on the denominator. Kaya, ang formula natin sa product of roots ay C over A. Okay, let's have the first example. Okay, we have x squared minus 4x minus 5 is equal to 0. So, identify natin ulit kung ano yung value ni A, ni B, at ni C. So, dito, ang value ni A natin ay 1. Ang value ni B natin is negative 4. Again, take note of the sign. Pag hindi natin naisama yung negative dito, kung ito ang ating given, magkakamali tayo sa ating final answer. Okay? So, dahil x squared minus 4x minus 5 is equal to 0 to, ang B natin, it should be negative 4. Okay? And yung C natin, that will be equal to negative 5. So, for the sum of roots, we have the formula negative B over A. So, ang gagawin lang natin ay i-substitute. Okay? So, negative b, ang b natin is negative 4. So, magiging negative, ito yung constant dito sa ating formula. Ang b natin is negative 4, kaya negative times negative 4 over ang a na 1. So, negative times negative 4, that is equal to positive 4. Divided by 1, if we simplify it, the sum of roots is equal to positive 4. Okay? Next, for the product of roots, okay, we have the formula C over A. So again, substitute. Ang C natin is equal to negative 5 at yung A natin is equal to positive 1. So negative 5 divided by 1, that is equal to negative 5. Correct. Okay, for checking, para masabi natin na tama yung nakuha nating sum and product of roots ng given na quadratic equation. Okay. Again, we can use factoring, completing the square or quadratic formula. So, dito, ang ginamit natin ulit for checking is factoring. Okay, so factor out x squared. So, we have x and x. So, factor ni 5 na kapag sinubtract natin ay 4. So, isa lang naman ang factor ni 5. That is 5 and 1. So, 5 minus 1, that is 4. Since that the sign of the linear term is negative, so yung mas mataas sa factor ni 5, sa kanya yung negative sign. Sa kanya, yun ang susundan natin para sa kanya. Since 5 is higher than 1, kaya ang sign ni 5 is negative at yung sign na positive ay mapupunta kay 1. So, we have the factors of the quantity x minus 5 times the quantity x plus 1 is equal to 0. Now, by using the zero product property, okay, again, kailangan ang matitira sa left side ay si x. So, ano i-add natin dito kay minus 5? Okay, para maging 0 siya dito sa left side. So, kung ano in-add natin dito, yun din ang i-add natin sa right side ng equation. So, x minus 5 is equal to 0, adding both sides by positive 5. Correct. So, negative 5 plus 5, 0 na siya. Okay? So, matitira na lang sa left side ay si x. So, sa right side, 0 plus 5, that is equal to positive 5. So, x is equal to positive 5. Okay, next. Si x plus 1. So, by using the zero product property, so we have x plus 1 is equal to 0. Again, kailangan matitira sa left side ay si x lang. So, ano makapagpa-0 kay 1 na nasa left side? Okay, so, minus 1. So, x plus 1 minus 1 is equal to 0 minus 1. So, 1 minus 1, 0 na siya. So, matitira sa left side ay si x. And then, 0 minus 1, that is equal to negative 1. So, ano yung roots natin? 5 and negative 1. So, if we add 5 and negative 1, okay, the sum of roots is equal to positive 4. Okay? And then, if we get the product of roots, so 5 times negative 1, then the product is equal to negative 5. So, kumbaga, ito ang haba. Pero, if we know the formula for the sum and product of roots, madali na natin makakome up kung ano yung sum at saka yung product. Okay? Okay, example number 2. So, we have 9x squared is equal to 25. Now, is it written in standard form? Okay, no. So, if it is not yet written in standard form, we need to transform it. So, it will become 9x squared minus 25 is equal to 0. So, dito, may nawawala na namang isang term. Okay? So, we have the values of A as 9, B is 0, C is equal to negative 25. Okay, so sum of roots. So again, we have the formula negative B over A. So ang B natin is 0. So 0 over ang A natin na 9. So 0 divided by 9, that is equal to 0. Okay? For the product of roots, so we have the formula C over A. So, ang C natin is equal to, okay, that's negative 25 over ang A natin, which is equal to positive 9. So, madidivide ba natin si 25 kay 9? Siyempre, hindi. So, this will be our final answer na. So, that is negative 25 over 9. For our checking, okay, so we have your 9x squared is equal to 25. So, we can find the value of x by extracting square roots because 9x squared and 25 are both perfect squares. Okay? So, first is to divide both sides by 9. So, dahil 9 divided by 9 to, magiging x squared na lang siya. Is equal to 25 over 9. And then, extract, get the square root of both sides. So, square root ni x squared is equal to square root of 25 over 9. So, we have x is equal to positive negative 5/3 or the roots of 9x squared is equal to 25 are positive 5/3 and negative 5/3. Okay, so yun yung dalawa niyang roots. So, let's check for the sum of roots. Okay, so for the sum of roots, we have positive 5/3 plus negative 5/3. So, kung babalikan natin in adding sign numbers, to, in adding different signs, okay, positive plus negative, we need to subtract. Okay? So, magiging 5/3 minus 5/3. Dahil pareha sila ng denominator na 3, dito, copy the common denominator and then subtract the numerators. So, we have here 5 minus 5, that will become 0, and then copy the denominator 3. Remember that 0 divided by any number, the answer is always 0. Okay? For the product of roots, so we need to multiply 5/3 by negative 5/3. Okay? Multiplying again, numerator times the numerator, denominator times the denominator. Okay? So, 5 times negative 5, that is equal to negative 25. 3 times 3, that is equal to 9. So, we have the product of roots of negative 25 over 9. Ito yung checking natin kanina. Okay? Checking natin to. Let's do this. So, find the sum and product of the following quadratic equations. So, kindly get a piece of paper. So, number 1, we have x squared plus 6x minus 27 is equal to 0. So, determine the values of A, B, and C. Okay, so ang A natin is 1, B is 6, C is negative 27. Okay, so for the sum of roots, we have negative B over A. So, anong gagawin? Okay, i-substitute lang. Okay, so ang B natin ay 6. So, we have negative 6 over ang A na 1. Okay, so negative 6 divided by 1. Ang sum of roots ni x squared plus 6x minus 27 is equal to 0 ay, okay, that is negative 6. Okay, for the product of roots, we have the formula C over A. Okay, so ano yung C? Okay, that is negative 27. Ano ang A? Okay, that is 1. So we have negative 27 divided by 1. So the product of fruits is negative 27. Okay, number 2. We have 2x squared minus 5x plus 3 is equal to 0. Okay, so determine the values of A, B, and C. Okay, ang A ay 2, ang B ay negative 5, ang C ay 3. So, for the sum of fruits, again, substitute lang natin kay negative B over A. So, ang B natin is negative 5. So, we have negative times ang B na negative 5. So, we have negative times negative 5 over ang A na 2. Okay, so negative times negative 5, that is equal to positive 5 over 2, or the sum of roots of 2x squared minus 5x plus 3 is equal to 0 is 5 halves. Okay, how about product of roots? Okay, so we have the formula C over A. Okay, so ang C natin ay 3. Ang A natin ay 2. Okay, so we have here 3 halves. Okay, last one, number 3. So we have x squared minus 36 is equal to 0. Okay, so determine the values of A, B, and C. So ang A is 1, B is 0, C is negative 36. Okay, so sum of roots. Ano ang sum of roots nito? Okay, so negative B over A. Ano ang B? That is 0. Ano ang A? 1. Okay, so 0 divided by 1. The sum of roots of x squared minus 36 is equal to 0 is 0. Okay. For the product of roots, we have C over A. Okay. So ano ang C? That is negative 36 over ano ang A? That is positive 1. So we have negative 36 divided by 1. The product of roots of x squared minus 36 is equal to 0 is negative 36. Okay, naintindihan? Questions and clarifications, huwag mahihiyang magtanong sa inyong math teachers. Okay? So, thank you for listening.